I think Pastor is back in, but I think we can go ahead and introduce. Let me see. I thought I saw him. Yes, he's back in. He's back in, sir.
Yeah, but is his audio working now?
Let's see.
You would like to
Yeah,
hope so.
working on the back end.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
His
in.
launch is here.
Okay, he's back in.
You must seriously forgive me.
Okay.
So it's good to have you back, my dear friend and brother. Okay,
Thank you very
our
much.
guest today is a pharmacist, a political activist, intellectual and public policy analyst, and holds a degree in pharmacy from the Ahmadu Bello University, a master's degree in African studies, and a doctorate in intellectual history from the University of Khartoum. He served as special advisor on political matters to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and later represented Katsina State in Nigeria's House of Representatives. He also served as National Secretary of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, and has been a prominent advocate for democratic governance, political reform, civic engagement, and national development. Widely regarded as a public intellectual, Dr. Usman Bugaje is known for his contributions to political discourse, leadership development, and policy advocacy in Nigeria. Dr. Bugaje, you are most welcome to the Nigerian Leadership Series of the 18th day of June in 2026. How are you and how is life?
I'm okay. God's grace is holding us together, and we remain grateful to the good Lord. And we do look forward to an engagement that will help us fix our country. Our country holds a very great promise, not only for Africa, but for the world. And the most critical thing is leadership. And I'm happy we're here to discuss, how to rebuild our country again. It's my pleasure to make my little contribution.
Thank you so much. We're looking at to build a nation, tackling systemic issues, Maybe what I should start off with is asking what your opinion is and what your view is on how well the government is performing, the government of the day is performing thus far.
I think, Pastor, this is everybody's knowledge. I'm more worried about what the elite in Nigeria are actually thinking and they are doing. Government from 1999, and I was, like you mentioned, if it is a privilege, I was, I had the privilege to be part of government 1999 to 2003 in the presidency. 2003, 2007, I was in the parliament. I chaired the Foreign Affairs Committee of the House of Reps. And 2007 2000 to 2011, I was the National Secretary of the Action Congress, which later joined with other smaller parties and formed the APC. And unfortunately, all that we had planned, was completely destroyed by the rogues in politics. So when you speak about performance of government, maybe the simplest thing is to say, and it's not, to be fair, the fault of just this government. I think we left the path from the first 8 years of Obasanjo. The first 4 years were very good because we were emerging from the Abacha regime. Not many young people will remember what Abacha regime was. It was a terrible regime. those of us who were in the trenches, some of us did not go for any exile. We stayed here. We fought him. We got arrested. We got detained. Our passports were seized, and all the kind of things that is normally done to what you might call the anti-military or the opposition at that time. And so when the first time of Obasanjo was, we did a lot of reconstruction. Things were really getting better. Unfortunately, his second term, took a different turn altogether. Part of the reason that I left actually the presidency to go into parliament, because we saw that shift. We saw that change in the trajectory. And we were worried. And indeed, all we feared, came to pass, that he wanted actually to remove the barrier for the limited term so that he can continue to have a third term. And once he gets a third term, there is no end. And we would have ended up with a situation very much like that of Cameroon or in some others where you have people that are really senile and ruling in the name of democracy, but just like any monarch, will rule. Even though we were able to stop him from that, we were not able to save the country from the, if you like, from the degeneration of democratic institutions and the gradual taking over by pedestrians. Many of them have not really gone to school. Many of them are using forged certificates. They have no idea of what development really is in the context of Africa. All they saw is the opportunity to amass wealth and to distribute largesse of government to their kith and kin and friends, and to continue allowing this country to really be going down the drain. I mean, they can't even understand the statistics. When you tell them that there are 141 million below the poverty line in this country today, these are World Bank figures, 63%, it doesn't prick their conscience because they don't even understand. I'm saying this not because I read newspapers. No, I engage them. I talk to them. We have occasions when we run into each other or we meet on common platforms, and you engage them and you can see that they really don't even understand. And this is the tragedy. So to summarize this point, the basis of government, like so many people are saying now, is in the Constitution, and it's very clear. Governments are there to provide security and welfare of their citizens. These are the fundamental reasons why governments are there. And government after government, budget after budget, speech after speech, the governments from the time of Obasanjo to date, they have been, failing to meet that benchmark. To a point here where we have now reached a stage where passed to is so alarming, because one, this government has not improved on the security. They have not improved on the welfare. If anything, the poverty level has gone down. People, who even have jobs cannot make ends meet. Those who don't have jobs, they are in a crisis, existential crisis. They don't even know how to survive. Then you have the worst, insecurity. In actual fact, in the hierarchy of human needs, human life comes first. And therefore, it is this failure of security that, in fact, is, if you like, is generating a lot of the unrest and creating a lot of worries, for everybody. And we've reached a point where the National Bureau of Statistics said between the 2023 to 2024, amount of money that we have paid, or people who were kidnapped or their kith and kin, to bandits has reached 2.26 trillion paid to bandits. Now, if you look at your state, the defense budget, the defense and security budget is just about 1.6, 1.7 trillion or thereabouts. What does that mean? It means that the bandits have more money than the budget of the Nigerian security. Already they have better arms. They have got better network. They have better intelligence because they have people in the market. They have people in government that are selling arms to them, and they said so. They have people in government who they are talking to and sharing the booty that they are getting. We now have a massive number of sources and stories that are now revealing that this insecurity is not just some, bandits in the bush. No, it's a cartel. It's a network that is becoming every day stronger than government itself. It has more resources than government, and they have no boundaries. They can cross anywhere with arms and ammunitions and guns and this and that. So really, we are getting to a point where basically the state is surrendering to the bandits. And then very soon we will not have a country. God forbid. But I mean, if you extrapolate the trajectory from where we are and knowing what we know, then we are really losing the country itself. And all this has been said by analysts, experts in security. They have spoken that, and the people in government are just simply not listening. And it's not just the president, even the governors. They have all the resources in their hand to take steps, but they won't. Because for them, governance is about self-aggrandizement, it's about looting, it's about amassing a dynasty, an empire around you. They have their houses in different capitals outside this country. They have storing enough, so they don't feel obliged to fix the country because they can always run with their nuclear family. They can always run out quickly and save themselves. And the institutions that are supposed to check them and to really stop them from this mess, they have all destroyed. We don't have a National Assembly now that can really check, the executive arm. We don't even have a judiciary. I'm glad there are still people within the judiciary that seem to have conscience and seem to have the courage to do the right thing. I don't know how many they are. They can't be many. Well, once in a while, you get, some of these islands of hope, as I would like to call them, but they are living in a sea of hopelessness. So we are in a very, very precarious situation as things stand, and governance is not delivering on the needs of the people.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Let me play a video. Then I'm going to ask you a few pointed questions, and then I'll hand over to Jumoke and Sonny to take on the rest of the evening. Please watch this video. That was the picture of the general that was captured and eventually lost his life. Let me put it that way. And then the army tells us that they were able to release his wife, General Rabi Abubakar, a major general of the Nigerian army. First of all, I want you to speak to the state of our security and the kind of trauma that this man must have gone through, and then his family is going through right now, and the reaction of our government. And then, number two, what do we do as simple and ordinary citizens of Nigeria that have found ourselves in this situation?
Well, first, it's a very traumatic picture just to see this. And only God knows how many such kind of scenes right now as we speak exist. Because there are a number of people who have been arrested, kidnapped, and some of them actually up to 500 million was paid. And the same Kasana was paid to the kidnappers, money delivered, and yet they killed the person and they didn't return the money. In other words, they are becoming bold and doing things that are otherwise inconceivable. So we have gotten to a point where the state is basically being told that we have taken over. You can't do anything. In this particular case, the government, as usual, was telling all the cook and bull stories that they have been used to, that, hypertension, this and no snake bite, and all manners of things. But you can see yourself, the government is lying. And when they said they have rescued the wife, many people are asking questions, okay, so how did you do it? They said they went with military and this, and they saw them carrying her on the bike. And nobody believes them. Because even when this man was in their captivity, there were telephone conversations recorded between the Matazu, what is the local government, chair of the local government of Matazu, and the bandits. And they were speaking like friends. They know each other. They know where they are. And they were talking about last time you didn't do this, next time you should do that, and all manners of, things. And which shows that government knows where they are. I recall an interview of Ahmed Gumi that some think is a controversial figure on this matter. But I remember the journalist asking him, how did you get to the bandits? How do you know them? He said, look, when I went to the bandits, I didn't go alone. I went with the army. I went with the police. And let me tell you something he said to her. Every bandit in this country, government knows his name. They have his number. They know exactly his location. So you start asking yourself, and there are a lot of things to collaborate. In my own local government, there was said to be a peace between a bandit leader and the leaders of my local government, which is the GBA local government in Katsina State. Okay, when that peace was made up, I don't know the terms, but what I know is that our village, for the last maybe 7, 8 years, we had armed the young men and women in that village. These are the people who are protecting the village, allowing people to go to farm, allowing markets to hold. And we did so with the knowledge and supervision of the security agencies in Katsina. And they give a regular report to the police. So in one of their reconnaissance, they apprehended 2 people carrying 2 very sophisticated guns. They interrogated them, they wrote a report, and they submitted these people to the police. Now, they expected, like they have done anytime such an incident is there, the police to even appreciate the work they have done, because it's their work, the police work that they are doing. You know what's happened? The police came after them, they arrested them, and they locked them up. And we were all shocked. So one of our children who was supervising went to see the police command. What is happening? They said, no, the bandit leader whose boys were caught has claimed that his guns are not two, they are three, and he bought them for 50 million. And therefore, these people have to produce the third gun. Can you imagine this? And this man went to the Commissioner for Security. And the Commissioner for Security was furious with our son, who was trying to follow up on this thing. And he was speaking on behalf of the bandit leader. And he had to ask him, are you really the Commissioner for Security of Katsina State, or are you Commissioner of Security for the bandit leader? And all these things are happening. I can go on and on and on. We don't have the time, but the point has been made that the state is an accomplice. There is complicity of the agencies of the state in this insecurity. And that's why precisely it is prolonging and it is worsening. Because if the state has the political will to deal with these bandits, they would have dealt with them a long time ago. What I don't think they realize, the longer they allow them room to grow and become stronger, the worse it becomes, and they will also be consumed in the process. Again, in Katsina, another staff of the governor, whether it's a PA or SA, whatever, was found also collecting money from bandits. Apparently, they did a deal and they kidnapped some people and collected some money. And this is what you find in Sokoto, in Zamfara, in so many other places. And I suppose even in Oyo and Kwara and the places that have now gotten into the net of these kidnappers, if you check carefully outside the stories that government tell us, you will discover a kind of accomplice. For example, in Kebbi, even in Chibok, every time these students are being kidnapped, you find that the military post or the police post that is supposed to be there is asked to withdraw, often hours before this particular thing. And even if the press have investigated and published these stories, no investigation is carried out. In Chibok, that was what happened. The military posts were asked to withdraw hours before this Boko Haram came and took these girls. In Kebbi, it's happened. It's a pattern. So clearly there is state complicity. And this is why this thing is not happening. Now, the second question, what can we do? There are lots of things we can do. The first thing is to accept that government is an accomplice and it cannot be relied upon to solve this problem. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. Now, we now have to come back and have an alternative leadership. Now, we better do it in good time, because there are already young people frustrated by this and who are organizing themselves to pick up arms from God knows where and to go and meet the bandits. Because so many people, experts, from Europe, have told them that you don't sit and wait until you are attacked and then you pursue the bandits. You know where the bandits are. Why don't you go after them? Destroy their bases, arrest them, kill those that are resisting arrest. And therefore, you would have solved the problem. No, this government is not doing so. They wait until there is a kidnapping, or there is an attack, or there is some kind of breaches of insecurity. Then they start running around, where are they? We have encountered them. But you know who? You know where they are. You know them by names. You have their numbers. Technology will allow you to. And you remember an American was once, kidnapped. And what America did, they just simply came with their planes. They went with a helicopter or maybe used drones. They sprayed this kind of chemical where everybody in that place will fall asleep. And they went and picked their men, and they took him back. They rehabilitated him, and they just simply walked away. What that means is that if we really want to do this thing, there is technology available that can deal with these people. But government is not ready to. It doesn't matter what government says. I don't believe any agency of government, whether military or police or government or president or any, I'm so certain that these people are not even prepared. They are just using that to suck as much money as we can. The parliament should have been investigating what is the military doing with all this money. Like, what have you? But then the parliament itself, when they go to do oversight, they are looking for money. Ask any head of government parastatal who goes to the National Assembly to defend his budget. In any case, budgets are supposed to be defended by the ministry, not by the parastatals, because the parastatals are under the supervision of the ministry. And this is what we did when we were in parliament. You have no business asking a vice chancellor to come and defend the budget of his university. He's not working alone. He's not an independent agency. He works under a ministry. Even NUC, you have no business to ask NUC to come, except if in the process of budget hearing, you want to get to the bottom of certain things, then you can take NUC and say, okay, we have noticed some of these, your universities are this and that. But they have now expanded it, they have broken it up so that everybody who goes, you will be asked to deposit some money. So really, we don't have a parliament. It's just a bunch of thieves collecting money, from state agencies. And so their accounts should have been investigated. But all these things are not happening. So coming back to the point, I think we need to come back to our moral leadership. The clergy, the ulama, the traditional institutions, they are the people we can fall back on. They have to guide people, citizens, organizing themselves and fighting the last war to get rid of these people. And we can do it. We are more in number. We are more educated. We are more savvy in terms of use of technology. We can, and people can contribute. Rather than wait until you are kidnapped and then you have to squeeze 50 million, give us just 1 million now. If you have 1,000 people, everybody is giving you 1 million, you already have what? You have 1 billion. That can buy sufficient drones and technology. You don't have to get anybody's permission, and certainly not the permission of these people who have refused to deal with this issue. Get along and survey their area, buy that particular chemical, spray it over, make sure that we have done it with people who are technically versed and we have them, and then go after these people and deal with them. Forget about this government that is always telling us lies. But you see, if we don't have the clergy and the ulama and the traditional institutions organized to come and lead, I can tell you from what I have seen in the social media, young people are organizing, they are not going to wait for anybody, and that's going to be chaos. I don't want that to happen. I want people to work, to organize themselves to deal with the issue of security as a group in an organized manner using science and technology.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I can see that's very, very passionate expression from you about this stage. One or two things you said, though, that you might need to listen. You do think that government is an accomplice in this matter? And are we talking about this particular government or successive governments? Because this matter has been on for
years. It is successive government. I started, Pastor, by saying that it's not just this government. This government is just worsening what it found. It's not improving. Now, let me make a footnote. I don't mean everybody in the army, everybody in the police, everybody in government is an accomplice. No. But there are accomplices within the hierarchy of these institutions that are allowing this thing to continue. There are very good people who are losing their lives and who are working. And even within government, there are people who are passionate and they are trying to, but they are getting brick walls. Wherever they face, they get one brick wall or the other. And because they are in uniform or because they are in government, they cannot come out to say so. But when they have an opportunity to meet with some of us, they say so. So yes, there are good people within these institutions that are very worried and very disturbed and very much traumatized by what they see. But they are either not in that position to do that. In fact, some of them actually are threatened because somebody was trying to expose what was happening and saying that he cannot accept this. And they said, the moment you do so, you're dead. Because it's a network. Look at the mining sector, for example. Where is it that there are lots of Chinese in all these forests, and no Chinese has been kidnapped, and they are mining? What happened? There was a story in the newspaper of 3 billion worth of gold that was being smuggled through the Kano airport. Who does it belong to? I understand it's coming from Zafara. All these things should be investigated. Because these are the people who are really, working with government to continue with this insecurity. Because if they are able to displace villages, then they will be able to do the kind of thing they are doing without anybody looking at them. But government is aware.
Okay, so my dear brother, what do we do? What does the ordinary, simple citizen do? We're looking at tackling systematic issues. We're looking at building a nation. We're looking at turning Nigeria around. What is your advice? Are we going to just sit back and watch and continue like this? Is there even a solution in sight? What should the average Nigerian be doing? And then if you were president, what would you do? So 4 questions rolled in one.
Well, let's take them one by one. What is your first question?
I think, well, 2 questions really.
Okay.
Now we're having all these issues in Nigeria, blah, 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 this and that. Is there any hope? Is there any hope? That's part one. Number two, what then should the average Nigerian citizen, myself, yourself, whoever, what can we do? What are we going to sit back and be looking at the situation? Are we totally helpless? What do we do?
No,
How
I
is it going
think
to end?
in the first place, there is hope. First, once there is life, there is hope. And once there is the will, there will be a way. So I think we can do something. The hope is in the fact that there is a human instinct to survive. And when chop comes to shop, they say there will be something. People will react, and they have started reacting. And that's the hope. The hope that human beings, by their very nature, they will not just sit and watch being killed, like chicken. They will do something. And we are getting to that stage where people will do something. My hope is we will not do it in a very disorganized manner. We'll try to do it in an organized manner. And that brings me to the second question. As citizens, my advice is that we all have churches and mosques where we go to pray. My suggestion is that we should ask the imams and ask the pastors there to say that, look, let's just shorten the prayer and use the time to organize how can we handle and confront this insecurity situation. And then the network of churches and network of the ulama should now organize themselves. And then for every territory, there is an Oba or a Seriki or Amir or by whatever name they are called. Go to him and say, look, we who belong to this part, who are part of your own, if you like, chieftaincy, chiefdom or wherever, or emirate, we are prepared to go. Where are your people who know the forest and because for every of these traditional institutions, there are people in charge of the forest. They have got hunters under them. They have got so many other things, with them. So let's combine those forces. What I know in my own part of the country, The hunters know the forest more than the bandits, because they hunt there. It's their second home. They know every corridor. They know every valley, there. And therefore, they can lead you and you can organize. And we have retired military officers, retired police officers, retired SSS officers who are part of that domain. We all put our heads together and just simply proceed. If we need to raise money, there are people with resources. We do crowdfunding. But we should not allow young people to start taking arms on their own, because we are now going to have chaos. But sadly, we cannot wait for a government that is not there. So this is my own suggestion, and I'm open to any better suggestion. I'm not saying this is the best way, but this is what I can think immediately. And I've given a lot of thought to this, previously. I mean, I don't want to go back into what we did, because I remember, yeah, now it's about 10 years ago or so, I was leading the Ariwa Research and Development Project. We did a 3-day, a thorough security conference. We brought every retired person. And that was the time of Buhari, I remember. I went to see the DGSSS at that time, because when I wrote the concept note, which suggested the government has failed, many people said they will not even allow you to have that conference. So I went to the DGSSS myself. I asked somebody to fix appointment for me. He received me. I gave him my concept note. I said, kindly read this. You will find it harsh. You will find it even aggressive. But you, as intelligent people, these are the kind of thing you should be informing the the government, that we are angry. So if I hide this from you, I'm not telling you the truth. And he accepted. And he even, designated the director, SSS in Kaduna State to represent him. And he came. And we asked him, do you want to come in incognito or do you want to be announced? He said, I should be announced because I'm here officially. And he was announced. And I went to the IG police. I also gave him that, concept note. And I said, we are going to proceed to have this conference. I understand you people don't want us to have conference. And they all came. The police representative did not come, by the way, for the records. Therefore, we proceeded. We brought all the arms of security, the NIA, the SSS, the customs, immigration, civil defense, those who have retired, the officers. And we got a very good collection of information. We organized it and we prepared a report. I took this report personally to the DGSS, even as we gave a copy to his director in Kaduna. I took this to the IG's office and submitted to, I don't remember who, but I submitted, this to that office. And we spoke to as many as we could in government, and we gave them copies. And I remember we brought in the Sultan at some stage. The Sultan was there. We did another meeting. Former Speaker Dogara was there, and we did all that we did, but the government was not listening. They did not do any of the things that I know that has been recommended. It was not my recommendation. It was the recommendation of experts, people who have gone through that, former generals, former AIGs, and all the people that you think have gone through these levels, have held these positions and are aware. So the point I'm making here is that there are lots of ideas that are given to government. The government is simply refusing to implement. And therefore, we should not wait for government. We should organize ourselves and see how we can deal with this issue. If we cannot deal with this issue, I don't see yet a government that is prepared and ready. Because if they are, it doesn't take more than 3 to 6 months maximum to deal with this security. they have the wherewithal, they have the experts, they can bring in people. I know countries that are prepared to give us all it takes to deal with this. Because I was involved in a visit, which I actually arranged for one of the governors, to one of the high-tech countries. And we spent a week, and part of that discussion was the Nigerian security problem. And, he was shown so many ways and so many things you can do to deal with this issue. He came back because he's a governor, he doesn't control security. I assume like we agreed, he will go and see the president, then talk to him, and then try to engage them to be able to do what they needed to do. But that was during the time of Buhari, and unfortunately, we could, he didn't do anything, and the people around him, did not do anything. So he was part of the major problem this country has gone through, unfortunately.
Very, very unfortunate, very, very sad, and so on and so forth. Okay, so are you still a member of the APC or whatever?
No, I have left a long time ago.
Okay, so are you still in politics, and what's it looking like 2027? What do you think the political...
I'm in politics.
Huh?
I'm in
Which
politics.
party are you?
I'm in SDP.
SDP?
Yeah, with Adewale Adebayo.
Okay. Are you his running mate?
No. I don't think I
Okay,
should
so
contest.
what's it going to look like? You don't want to contest, okay.
No, it's under pressure, but really it's not my intention to contest. We should promote younger people. We are around to support them, to help them, to push them, to do whatever it takes. But I don't think I would want to contest.
Okay, so what do you think the political situation is going to look like in 2027? Is there going to be a level playing field? Are votes going to count? And so on and so forth. What do you think? There's all sorts of permutations. Some parties are being threatened that they won't even be allowed to. There's a court case hanging over people's heads.
Pastor, when you spoke
Why are you
about
laughing now?
You're talking about level playing field, and I'm telling you, everybody in this country knows that there is no level playing field in this game. There is no level playing field. I mean, they have said it, and I think an opposition group leaders went to see the president during Ramadan, and I saw the clip now going around. And what the president told them there is like telling you, look, there will not be any level ground. You are opposition, you have to go and suffer. I suffered when I was in opposition, So what I mean to say is that it's obvious that these people will not, allow any level ground. I mean, you just look at them and you know where they are coming from, and you have seen the antics and the way there will be no level. But what I know also is that Nigerians are ready to face, anybody who is not prepared to work or operate on a level playing field. I think the ingenuity of Nigerians is such that they will match whatever he brings. And I know people are prepared. Now, you ask me what are things looking for. Go back to 2023. You have about 90 million plus registered voters. About 87 million collected their voters card, right? But what happened? Only 20 really turned up to the post. Why? One of the reasons is that there was really no choice. Many people felt, well, what is there? And some of them mistakenly think that because if I go, the results are going to be rigged, so I might as well just stay at home. So now we need to tell those people that it is you really that is giving the rogues in politics, a chance, to come and mess up our country. You have to go out, everybody. So we have to do the campaign, all over, in the mosque, in the churches, in the marketplace, in the office, wherever. People must come out and vote. And we have to take steps to make sure these people who are giving money in the polling booth, we have to have a special squad whose business is to look out for them and to deal with them in the best way they think is possible. So that if you are going to vote, vote your conscience. We will not allow anybody to be giving out money, whether in secret or in whatever way, behind the table, under the table, behind the doors. We will search and make sure that nobody is allowed. Anybody we have seen fishy, carrying a bag or carrying something, we will stop him. We are not going to rely on the police. They are all part of the problem. Therefore, we are going to, we have to take this thing upon ourselves as citizens to run sentinel to make sure that the rules, are obeyed. And imagine, even if the 20 million that came out all go and voted for APC, for example. Now, if the balance of about 70 million, if we're able to get just 1/3 of that, and if they are able to focus on one party that they can they will come up with more votes. And it's okay. INEC will not, they will disconnect their server and some say, but nobody is going to wait for INEC server anymore. Nobody is going to wait for even INEC to announce results. Legally, yes, but citizens are going to collect their own results. They will use technology. They will announce their figures and we'll know who wins. So it doesn't matter what INEC says. Citizens are going to go by their own tabulations. Because this is the way to confront a rogue state.
Okay, we'll wait and see. God will give all of us life and things, and I hope Nigerians will have the courage to take up their responsibilities. Thank you so much, my brother. It's nice to see you. You're looking very well, very calm, very
It's all
handsome,
God's grace.
very relaxed, very rich. So I'm happy.
Well, I don't know about being rich, but I'm content.
You're content, and that's rich. Once you are content, you're as rich as the next man. That's what's important. And I, of course, know the family you come from and your family values and the family associations and the family get-togethers and so on and so forth. I'm sure that is giving you a lot of joy and happiness. Please, if you do come to Lagos, let us know. My house is your house. We can always get together
I was
and all
there.
that. Still share a cup of tea. And
I
if
think
I come
about
to
around the 25th of July, I have an event around there. So I'm hoping to make it either, most likely after the event, I'll find time to stay and come round. I will let you know.
Okay, please, that would be wonderful. And if
Please,
I do come up your way before that time, I'll let you know.
please.
Yes, let me yield the floor to Nigerians who are on the call. There's quite a lot of them. Some lady, let me try and remember her name. She said you are her person. Oh, Temi Harriman. She says you were in
Temi is here.
I don't know if she's on the call, but when I sent her the invitation, she was pretty happy and said you are her person, that you were both in the House of Rep together or something like
We
that.
did a lot of good things together. We fought. I was in PDP, but I did more opposition from within, than the official opposition did. And we did a lot of work. And she was one of the real strong figures with whom we stopped Obasanjo from his bid for third term.
Interesting. Okay, so thank you so much for coming. Let me hand over to Pastor Sonny and Jumoke. They will take us through the Q&A, and then we'll come to some conclusion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Usman Bugaje. My name is Sonny, and great insights you have given us. And I just like to say a few things before we go on to the questions. And there are a lot of hands up. I like where you ended that the people have to take the initiative. And not everybody may like this, but this is what they did in South Africa. We are crying xenophobia of what they did in South Africa. But the South African people saw the complexity of their security agencies, whether it's the police, the immigration, how they were bribing them and getting things done. And they decided to not to wait for the government, and they took some of the steps themselves. Now, the way they went about it was not the best, destroying things, but this is what, when the state failed to do the work they are paid to do, and the people decide to rise, it's very good. And I like the idea you are meeting that the people should rise and take action. The problem, however, and I want to find out, you have suggested the religious leaders and traditional rulers. If, like you said, some people in government are complicit in what is going on, will they not sell out to the bandits or to their sources if they are making money? And I agree with you, by the way, that there's a lot of complicity, because I don't know whether you listened to Hakim Baba Ahmed a few days ago on telly, who said his nephew was kidnapped and he was in government then, and he told everybody that could do something. They got the coordinate of the kidnappers. He gave the things out, but yet they paid about 125 million plus some motorcycles to get his cousin out. So that just shows me that there was absolutely no will at that level. He said he was working in the villa at that time, and he had access to almost everybody. And he spoke to everybody, gave them all the coordinates and everything, and yet they couldn't rescue his nephew. They had to pay ransom. That kind of the situation, and I like the idea you have muted, if 1,000 people can give 1,000,000 naira, for example, we get 1 billion, we can get drones. Is it for lack of will or knowledge? The people at the top, either the president, the vice president, cannot sit and say, this is what we want to do, and not listen to excuses and boycott some protocol and get things done. What do you think?
Well, as you know, I was also in the villa for 4 years.
Yes.
The villa has not changed much. It has changed guards and faces, but the networks basically the same. I think it's the nature of our politics. The political culture that is running our politics is very pedestrian. There is no thinking that goes into our politics. There is no planning. There is no vision. And all people see in politics is the here and now. How do I make as much money as I can before the term ends or before something happens? Now, that kind of thinking is what is, even in the villa, that's what it is. Recently, somebody was given an appointment. Actually, his appointment was renewed. And then he was asked to go to a particular office to collect his letter. Now that has it's strange. It is the ministry under which he's working that's going to issue. Or even if it is issued from the villa, it should come to the ministry. And this will be forwarded to him in a matter of routine internal ministry communication, like files move from one place to the other. But he was asked to go, and he was advised to get $150,000. He said he doesn't even have $150,000 to give to the big man in the villa from whom he's going to collect the letter. I'm speaking about just a few months back. And then he said, but I don't even have $5,000. And if I'm going to get that money, where am I going to get that money? How am I going to repay that money? I don't steal. I don't, take any, everything I do according to, he said, okay, I have been offered a job outside this country. It's patriotism that kept me here, trying to fix what I can in my own field of expertise. And so he decided to just say, sorry, take your job. Somebody had intervened, and I don't know what happened. Somehow they brought the letter to him. The point I'm making is that I want us to understand the political culture and the kind of people we have in politics. They do not have the capacity to think through the many multitude of problems, that we have at the moment. Therefore, what we need to do, and which is missing, and that's the point really I wanted to end up with, and I keep emphasizing it, is that this country is not going to move one inch in the right direction except if the elite have a consensus as to where they want their country to be in the next 25, 50 years. This issue of elite consensus is delaying, because when you hear elite speak, they still speak like some kind of zombies. They are still talking about Igbo presidency, Yoruba presidency, Hausa presidency, Kanuri presidency. What is this stupid idea in the 21st century, for goodness sake? How can a Hausa presidency help you? How can an Igbo presidency help you? I mean, I find that honestly nauseating. Look, we are looking for a competent manager, somebody who is educated, who can go to the United Nations, engage the international agencies. So he must be able to speak good language. He must be able to have read economics, to have read law, to have read things that will allow him to really manage. And he must have a strong team, a team that is diverse, that is inclusive. And part of my problem with a lot of these opposition figures, when I ask them, okay, you are in party XYZ, right? And you want to become president. Where is your team? I want to see your team. I'm not going to just assess you. I want to see who is going to be the economists around you, who is going to be the expert in security, who is going to, nobody is bringing his team. You have hangers on. A lot of them also rogue politicians who have stolen money when they were in office, putting their Barbariga and nice cabs and jeeps and this and running around him. That's not going to impress me. I want to see the idea. What is the big idea? No country makes progress except with a big idea. Japan after the Second World War, Korea after the Korean, South Korea after the Korean War. Every country that we have seen that has made progress in the last 30, 40 years, it has two things. It has captured a big idea that it is pursuing, that gives it its vision, and there is a competent team around them. We don't have any at the moment. And this is why the country is not moving in any direction except going down the drain. Because you don't have a big idea. When you say to anybody, say, okay, Nigeria, what comes to your mind when I say, when I mention Nigeria? It's now the kidnapping stories, the Boko Haram and all these, the inflations, the terrible things that are happening. But when you mention Japan, what comes to mind? A very disciplined nation that had no oil, had nothing, that decided to invest in education, technology. What comes to your mind when you mention Singapore? It used to be like Ajegunle, 30, 40 years ago, when it broke away from Malaysia and became an independent country. Is the Lincoln U from their university days that organized themselves as elite and they had a consensus as to where the country is going. Japan is now on the cutting, Singapore is on the cutting edge of technology. It has, it's ranked the highest in ease of doing business. Very disciplined, very clean country with everything going for them. It's not a miracle. It's not prayers. Prayers are good but you have to work. So the point is the elite that we are waiting for, to have a consensus, and to stop this nonsense of looking for an Igbo presidency, a Hausa presidency, this presidency. Get me a competent person. If you are going to travel from Lagos to Abuja, you're not going to be asking for a Hausa pilot or an Igbo pilot, you want a good, competent pilot that can, take you safely. That's what you need. And once you are there, you have gotten what you want. What more? So I think we have to rise above this stupidity, of tribes and whatever part of the country, to look at the real substance. Who are you? What can you offer? That's what really matters.
Okay. Thank you, Jumoke. You're muted. Thank you very much for those submission. I mean, very, very brilliant. And I like how you have put it. We have quite a few hands up, and Jumoke will take us through that process. You like the engagement. I'm sure you'll get some more contribution and questions that you can speak to. So Jumoke is going to manage the Q&A, and you will have the time. Thanks very much, sir.
As a teacher, I always welcome engagements.
That's the best
inquiries.
way.
I want to be interrogated because I do interrogate people. I interrogate ideas.
That's true.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Thank you,
sir.
okay.
Good evening. Thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate your time. I want to follow up on a statement, a joint statement that was made by
10 of
yourself.
us.
Yes, about 10 of you. And it was just like sounding the alarm. And but the statement came from a group, and the group was mostly from Northerners. And for elder statement, I saw Professor Jibril Ibrahim was part of it. Professor Jega is also part of it. I think Professor Gambari also was part of that group. And why aren't, especially with elder statesmen, why are we not going across the divide and bringing more of a unified statement where, where we would have had like people from the Southeast, people from the Southwest as well, to make that statement, because it's one country. And the reason I bring this up is banditry, kidnapping, and a lot of this mayhem have been happening up north for many, many years. And the South thought, okay, they were excluded from it. But now it's a national crisis. How can we kind of make it more a national cry than a regional cry? So that's I wanted to speak to that statement that the 10 of you came together to make.
Thank you very much for this question. First, what we have done is a trigger. It's not the final thing. And what you are just asking for is in the pipeline. Professor Jibril is working on that. We just didn't want to wait until. And the context was there were certain things that were particular around the North that we wanted to understand and tackle. So we called experts to give us a brief. And it was after that meeting that we thought, from the information that we have collected, we should not delay. So from the meeting we had to the statement, it was just about 3 days. And there was a debate as to wait until we can get everybody on board or to start. And the opinion there was that, look, let's not delay, let's start something, but let's continue our engagement. And we do have forums where, the whole nation is there. You remember the big tent of Pat Otomi, even Pastor Itua has been part of all this engagement. But Jibril Ibrahim, I know, is working on that. We have a policy platform which involves lots of people like Falana, like a lot of our friends in the civil society like Clement Nwanko, and even people like who are in politics. I may not remember all the names now, but what I mean is that there is already an engagement that is taking place. And so this is just a trigger, and we are going to get there. because we have been talking about this and we have done this before. You remember sometimes the Rescue Nigeria project, so it's a continuation of what we had started. But what we are basically trying to do is that this time, once we are able to craft a platform, there has to be this consensus. In fact, if we can get it before we run into the elections, that would be better. That's what we are working. So it's on.
Thank you. There is, it has to be expedient. We really don't have much time in this nation. So thank you for bringing those up. I have questions, but I'm going to defer my questions to later because we have a lot of hands up. And thank you for being a guest again. So you know how this works. We'll take 3 questions together and have you address them. Because we have so many hands up, I'm really going to appeal to everyone to please keep your comments to 1 minute or less so that we can take all the hands up. Thank you. Mr. Boniface, please go ahead. We've asked you to unmute, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Well spoken. My concern is that we don't seem to have too much time left before the election. And the reality of the facts on ground is that state capture is real. There's no two about it. An Adeboye Redeemed Church tells you that they want to go and protest, and the wife of president calls him and says, don't. She's a pastor. And he's not able to. It's part of the fact that during the time of Jonathan, he was up in arms protesting. And so you see it everywhere. So to say capture, we can just build houses for judges. Listen to my friend Baba Ahmed. He did say that that's bribery. So state capture is real, and it's being deepened. And so the concern is we don't have too much time. And I agree, there must be citizen resistance. But it's not going to be a child's play. And then so there has to be entrenched, concentrated and focused action. I don't know how that's going to happen. So that it's not just happening in Abuja and Lagos. It has to be right across this country if we're going to have any results. But if nothing is done, the results of the election is a foregone conclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for honoring the time. Can I have Pastor Funke please go ahead with your question? We've asked you to unmute.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much, Professor. And I like how you explain things. There's a dichotomy here. First of all, we have tribal, then we have religious. And you are working on the regional one from what my sister asked you about the regions and all that. Yesterday, I was listening to Governor Fashola, and he said, right now, we don't even know if we're a country or a nation. I didn't know there was a difference, until he broke it down. And clearly, there's so much confusion, on one side. There's also the fact that there's a conspiracy, theory. Each time they are trying to unravel the plan, so many things are creeping in and all that. So, while, it's clearly now it's not just a northern thing, it's now creeping into the south. So I don't know, how do you want to halt all this conspiracy theory? How do you want to halt the escalation of, violence, all over the place? And what can we do? Yes, I like the fact that, we have thinkers. What can we do to really think aloud and work it? We don't have all the time, like everybody's saying. How can we do it and speed it up? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Uncle Akintayo. That'll be the first set of 3 questions. Uncle, please go ahead on mute.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jumoke. I'm so happy to always come and look in on this thing, and I thank Pastor Itwa and all of you for making this effort. Alaji, thank you very much. We haven't seen each other for a very long time, and I'll be very brief. Yes, there has been state capture, But as in these kind of situations, one always look for the Saul who's going to become the Paul, who is going to see his road of Damascus and lead us out of this trap that we're in at the moment. I'm glad you said you are SDP. I am now a Sidon-Look politician. I was a PDP activist under Malam Adamu Chiroma in the good old days. But the key thing that you said that I want you to please clarify, because here in the Southwest, we are organizing. You remember that the current DG, Tosin Ajayi, and Malam Danjuma, General Danjuma, has already pushed us in that direction. But you did say one thing, that Tinubu currently is one of them and is making things worse. That is not true. I did not support Tinubu in 2023, but since he's been there, he has been an action person to try and change things. One key thing I want you to answer too is this issue of state police that we're pushing through. Is that not a very huge step forward to bring the policing and the security down to the grassroots, to the states and to the local governments, especially now the governors have so much money in their hands? I think, in all fairness, Alhaji, you should thank President Tinubu for that. I rest.
Thank you. All right, so we can take those three questions, sir, or comments, if you can
Thank you
speak to
very
them.
much.
And then take the
Thank
next
you very
set.
much. I think my brother Boniface basically raised points and agreed with the fact that we need citizen resistance. I just want to add that we need citizen resistance, but under some kind of moral leadership, because we have to have leadership. Otherwise, it's going to go haywire and we will not be able to control it once it gets out. So yes, I agree with you. Pastor Funke raised the issue of, a country and a nation. It brings me back to the issue I've raised of elite consensus. The difference, of course, is that when you have a country, it's a country because this is artificially created, like most African countries, by colonialism. But then if you want to make it a nation, then you start the process of nation building. And the process of nation building is a process of creating trust, among citizens. And that is a factor of leadership. And part of what we have not done as elite is to be able to draw up a certain criteria for leadership recruitment. That is not there. Now, if we had a pre-colonial, the pre-colonial African states have their own way of shaping and social integration, but after colonization, because the borders were artificial, we needed certain kind of leadership to be able to. The first set of leadership we had were leadership who actually fought the colonial masters. So they were ideological, and they were, you remember Kwame Nkrumah, for example. They saw not only Ghana, they saw the whole of Africa as a nation. And they were trying to build, Africa, even as they recognized the colonial boundaries. So the point I'm making is that it boils down to leadership. So if we are able to see the difference between country and nation, the question is, how do we build a nation? We build a nation through three basic things. One, we need to have, we need to prioritize people's will. That's where sovereignty begins. We need to have rule of law. We need to have separation of powers. These are the three minimum you require to have a nation. And how do we organize this from where we are at the moment? Three steps. One, an elite consensus that I kept, making as the beginning point. Two, criteria for leadership. We have to, find a way of putting either in the constitution or putting it in the parties, or creating a norm that society accepts that before you can lead, you have got to have, certain minimum level of character. You have to have a minimum level of competence. You have to have a minimum level of courage that courage of conviction that will allow you to do the right thing once you are in a position to act. And then what you require, you need to have the kind of, inclusion that will give you the legitimacy. You have to be able to make everybody become part of it, and people to participate with their ideas, with their opinion, and then the stronger argument will always win the day. And that's how nations have made progress. But the starting point is the elite consensus, and that's the point I keep hammering on, because I think is the starting point. People like Fashola, people like Pat Otomi, people like Pastor Itua himself, people like who are passionate, and they really want to see this country. Why can't we come together and say this is the direction we want our country to run? We have the wherewithal, we have the expertise, we have the connections to make sure this country survives. So it's not good enough that I come here and I speak my mind if I cannot connect to some of these people who share the same concern, and then we will never fail to agree. In the forums that I made reference to, we have people like Fanana. We sit down together and we agree this is the way to go. But why can't we, bring that out to the open and formalize it so we have a consensus that will influence everybody? The Uncle Akin raised the point of state police. Let me start with state police. There has been a lot of statements. Some people say, oh, if you do a state police, the governors are going to abuse that. Or for me, it speaks to our lack of thoroughness. And because there is no thinking that goes into government policy. And there is no nexus between the knowledge we produce in our university and the policies we churn out in government. The first question to ask is a philosophical question, but that's a foundation. What exactly is the problem for which the state police is the solution? When we start with that, we'll begin to see the problem is not whether the police is state or federal. The problem is the way you run the police. For example, if you do it at the state level, what makes bandits? What stops bandits from joining the police force? Because I know, because I have my daughters, I have my children that I push, to go into the police, especially women from my part of the country. And I knew at that stage I had to battle, because every police recruitment, there is amount of money that's being collected. Government jobs are being sold. These are realities that we know. So for me, state police is not going to solve our problem. I'm not against it, but what I'm saying is that that's not where the problem is. And we are ignoring where the actual problem is, and we are going for shadows. Because if you do not clean up the process of becoming a policeman, if you do not clean up the what you call it, the internal discipline and promotions within the police, if you don't clean up the system that allows the money allocated. You remember the case of Tafa Balugu? I was in parliament at that time. How much did we vote for the police? And how much exactly went down? And I'm not saying he's alone. Maybe most IGs are like that, but nobody investigated. What are we doing about these issues? Just create a state police without addressing these particular issues that have rendered the federal police ineffective. Then we are just simply, I don't have a word for it, but I think it's sheer stupidity. So I don't see anything to thank Bola for it, because I'm not happy the way these things are being done. They are not being done rationally, scientifically. They are being done with all emotions. And I don't see an achievement in just replicating the same rotten police that we have had. So look, let's get more scientific, more rational, and more patriotic. I'm looking at what's going to happen to the country. I'm already in my 70s, so I really don't have much to look forward. But I'm worried. I'm still active. I'm doing what I can do. My colleagues have retired. They are busy in their houses, enjoying their lives, reading newspapers. I could just do that if I wished to, but I didn't. I'm all over the place. I don't sleep in the night. I'm writing this, I'm doing this, I'm into that meeting where I'm mentoring young people. This is because I care. And I'm saying this not because I need anything. Even Buhari's government, I criticize it like anything. And before then, I was given an appointment. I declined. So look, we are not doing this because we want to impress anybody. I passed that age where I want to impress. I'm not doing this because I need job. I don't need a job from anybody. I'm not doing this because I need money. I don't have money, but I don't need money from anybody. So look, let's try to look at the real issues. And we are not criticizing him because he is Yoruba. No, please don't bring us down. This is very pedestrian kind of thinking. Let's look at the country. Why am I in SDP promoting Adewale Adebayo? He's a brilliant young man. I just saw him. I mean, I've never met him for some time, but I saw what he was saying, and I can see the coherence in what he's saying. And we reached out to each other. And since then, I found him far better than most of the people who have come out to look for the presidency. So there are people from the North who have come out. Why didn't I join them? So please, let's not, trivialize the points we are making. Now, whether Bola is doing well, is not doing, I don't want to discuss that. Ask the citizens. If he's doing well, ask them. They will be the ones to say. I'm not going to, I just want to speak to the state police. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those responses. We are going to take the next set of questions. Auntie Yemisi, please go ahead. We have about just 4 more hands up, still 1 minute. Please go ahead, ma.
Thank you so much to Jumoke, the ALG team, and Alhaji Bugaje. I'm Miss Yemisi Ransom Kuti, and I'm always happy to see my generation still committed to the struggle, even though we're getting tired. Come on, admit it. We would like the young ones to take over. My question to you really is, see, ALG has a program called Coalition for Participatory Governance. And we're trying to do exactly what you have suggested in some of these wonderful contributions that you have made today, which is to engage at the community level, at the local government level, where the education of the people so that they're able to act rationally and an informed manner is critical to what we're trying to do. And so I want to find out from you, apart from the elite consensus and the national and other partnerships that we're trying to achieve at the broader level, are you doing anything in your local government? Do you have any structures of engaging with the stakeholders that you've talked about? And if you have any ideas how we can strategize to engage the citizens, because the citizens themselves are really the ones that must take this process to the next level, as you have highlighted in your engagement today. Thank you once again very much for all that you're doing. And may God continue to give you and me too the strength to go on. Thank you. And people like us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emisi. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, ma. Professor Grange.
Yes, thank you very much, Alhaji Bugaje. Let me first of all say why I am so proud of you and what you have said today and what you have been doing all along. My father was a pharmacist of old times. My brother, my recently late brother, was also a pharmacist. So I have come from a pharmaceutical family. And I thank you so much for showing off what pharmacists can do in politics, although my own people did not go into politics. Thank you. Really, I cannot say more than to thank you that you are actually taking steps to making corrections in what we feel has become a hopeless situation. So, that is fantastic. I just want also to point to the fact that politically, things went bad. Things have been going bad for a long, long time. I was Minister of Health, and at that time, the everything had started going bad during Yar'Adua's regime, immediately after Obasanjo. Unfortunately, did not live long enough to actually show us a different direction. So what I feel is just exactly what you have said, that it's going to be very difficult to correct those who are now in power. We have to start our own movement. And I'm glad that you have suggested how that movement will be formed. We've got also Pastor Itua, the ALG, Yetunde, Yemisi Ransom Kuti, all of us, we've been trying to form, but now we have to find a way of all coming together. Because if we don't all come together, we'll find people who will separate us. Yes, I'm sure Jumoke can give you a list of all the people who have been speaking on this forum, on this platform, who share the same sentiments, the same passion, and the same values that we have all been trying to articulate. I believe that we should get all together to do what we're supposed to do. That is the elitist intervention in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. So I know I probably will be accused of partiality, but I had to let you finish. So we're going to take the third hand, Mr. Samuel Dada, and then you can address those three, and then I'll take the very last three sets of hands. Go ahead, Mr. Dada. We've asked you to unmute.
No, I thought it's Ben on the line.
No, I have, okay. I'm
Ben.
following, let me see. Was it Ben was next? Oh, sorry, Ben, go ahead. Yes, Ben, Samuel Dada, then we have Adeyemo Shodikbo and Abubakar Yusuf Abubakar. So go ahead, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, Prof. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Knowing fully well that illegal mining serves as a cash cow for these bandits, how can the government actually take control of that sector? Like in the north, we heard about gold mines in Zamfara and other parts of the north. It's actually obvious that even the Minister of Mines and Steel, I don't think he has has control of that ministry. So what can the government do to take control of that? Because if you don't stop illegal mining, the bandits will always have access to financing. So how do we take control of that sector? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly go back to EMEC. I'm so happy to hear that you are moving in that direction. We are always ready to work together. I have to come with a little complaint. From the times of June 12th, I have to appeal to our brothers, especially in the Southwest, to realize, because I had to come during the time of June 12th from the North with a team to run around Oyo, Ondo, Lagos, to explain to them that we in the North voted for Abiola. We rejected Tofa, and we voted for Abiola. We feel the pain of June 12 just as much as you do, if not more. So don't narrow the things. Try to open up. Try to reach out. We find it is we in the North that are always reaching out to you. We are willing, we are ready, and it's necessary. It's actually in our own enlightened self-interest to actually work together. We gain nothing by everybody pulling in his own direction and doing his own thing. We don't. So I think it is the synergy that has been missing. For me, it's very easy for me, and I do come to Lagos for events. But if, for example, I should invite you to Kaduna, or maybe to Kaduna, maybe you can come. But if I invite you to Zamfara, I'm not sure how many people would like to come to Zamfara because of obvious challenges. But what I mean, on a very serious note, is to say that, look, Yemisi, we are ready to work together. We are moving in the same direction, but all we need is to connect and create that synergy. In fact, if the politicians see us really creating that synergy alone is enough to push back a lot of the terrible things they are doing. They are the ones who benefit from our doing things independently. When they don't see us together, they are happy because then they are able to go scot-free for all the crimes they commit. But the moment they see MEC, they see Pastor Funke, they see Professor Grange, they see myself and Jega and others all coming together, they will start getting worried. Say, what's happening? Because the country is coming together. And they know that we are going to go after them. And they know that we know them very well, more than the ordinary person knows them. And that's the thing to do. So it's part of the therapy to get Nigeria out of where it is at the moment, that we must come together. We must be seeing the optics of ourselves coming together and having a meeting over the future of this country is going to be very, very, very important and very significant. So yes, I absolutely agree. And the issue of people's movement that Professor Grange talked about is all in line with what we are talking. We are willing, we are ready. We must be prepared to work together. But I want to appeal to you not to stay in Lagos, not to stay in Ibadan. Come over. Maybe we meet in Abuja. Preferably you come to Kaduna. The day they see Professor Grange and Yemisi coming to Kaduna and having a meeting over the future of this country, they'll start thinking twice. They say, something must be happening. So that's what the kind of thing I would urge you to please make time, because it's going to change the optics. It's going to change things. Illegal mining, you say, how do we get the government to do something? But don't you know that the beneficiaries of the illegal mining are the ones who have formed the government? They are the ones who are funding the politics. The governors of Zamfara, the retired, the former governors of Zamfara are all into it from all the information that we are getting. And maybe more people than I can, in fact, fathom are involved. The stories we are hearing is that it is they who are actually lubricating the political machine. They are the ones who are paying for this, paying for that, and doing all these things. I'm not saying we cannot do something about it. I'm not saying that, I don't know, Dele Alake, whether he's in control or not in control. I've not turned my attention to that. But I think what is important is for us to be raising the issue. Let it be on the table, on the radar. We want investigations. We want somebody to explain to us why the Chinese are not being kidnapped. And we know that they're in Nasarawa, we know that they're in Zamfara, we know that they are in a number of, even in places like Southern Kanu, the Riroi area. Somebody just 2 days ago also was telling me that there are, Chinese miners in those areas. They are brought into the country surreptitiously, and they are off the radar. You don't hear you don't see their pictures in the press, you don't hear anything about them in the press. They are deliberately hidden away, because this is where really the people are making the money. And we don't even know if the Nigerian government is aware and how much royalties or how much taxes they are actually paying. So, and I can say a lot, but we don't have time on this. It's a very serious area, because even the issue of rare earth, they are more important really than the gold and the lithium that people are looking for. I mean, I have been involved with somebody who came from South Korea, established a company. And when I sat with him and we became friends, and I'm getting an insight into what is happening beyond what most citizens are aware. It's beyond that. So maybe another day we can speak about that. But I agree with you, but I just want to caution you, I don't think government, unless under pressure by citizens, is not on its own, by its own, going to tackle the issue of illegal mining because they are huge beneficiaries.
Thank you, sir. We are going to take the last four hands, and maybe we'll take all those together because we're really up on time. I know, Yusuf Abubakar, I asked you to unmute earlier, so please prepare to unmute. I'll take Samuel Dada again, please, 30 seconds or less. And then another hand just came up after I said we are taking the last four hands. We really have to cut it off. Apologies. Mr. Samuel Dada, please go ahead. If you can keep it to 1 minute or less, we'll really appreciate that. Go ahead.
Okay, I will try. Okay, my question is, sir, do you believe in the rotation of presidency between South and North? Though I have many comments towards that question, due to the time consciousness, I won't be able to go further. And if you believe, let me know, because right now you say you're supporting Adebayo. And I want to believe you are one of those people that believe that, okay, the power belongs to the South. That is why. Maybe after the next 4 years now, you shift to the Northerners. And don't you believe that this thing is really affecting us in Nigeria? We are not electing president through meritocracy, rather we are electing them through tribalism setting, and which is creating division among the younger generations and the poor people of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Please go ahead, Mr. Adeyemo Shodipo, 1 minute or less. We've asked you to unmute.
I have. I'm so overwhelmed by all the information you have given. It has shown me the kind of person you are. You are of the highest ethics. You have integrity. And the country surely needs people like you. I want you to reconsider what you said that you might not run. Even if you don't run, you should be a strategic person to the person who is running. To me, you are so detribalized. You are very, very good. I did my youth corps at ABU, and I tell people that I know the North more than I know the West. I went as far as Bringing Kirby. It was an experience for me which I will never forget. At that time, there was no insecurity. We didn't have any insecurity problem. Nigeria was good. We have to do something, and we need people like you. I would like to see how I can talk to you because you just made my day. You are. I cannot thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough. You are good, man. You are good. You are very, very good. I spoke to a
Thank
friend of
you.
mine. His name is
Sir,
Beauty
I'm so
Guana. He
sorry.
knows you.
I'm so sorry,
Thank you.
Mr. Adeyemo.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I need
Yeah.
to get in touch with him, please. I need to.
Please get in touch with me. I have it,
Okay.
so we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. King Henry, please go ahead. I know you'll keep it to 10 to 1 minute or less. So go ahead.
Thank you so much for the privilege. And I want to sincerely appreciate Alagi for his insights and what he has done today. It's I'm so happy to have such a Nigerian speak to us. I love you so much, sir, because for me to comment somebody, it means so dearly to me. But I have one question, sir. We can see that the Nigerian system has failed at every structure: federal, state, local government. The local government is the worst. We have now created the fourth level of government now, which is banditry. And the reason for this we have not even addressed at all. And I don't think you even mentioned it. And it's just because of this federal allocation that Nigerian elite, and by the way, I want to also comment on the elite consensus. Are the elites also coming together again to be sharing money, calling federal allocation? That is the 70% of the problem of Nigeria is this money they are sharing with morons, idiots that cannot solve problems. And we have been doing this for 66 years. We have been doing this since 1960 that Gowon started the centralization of I'm calling from North America, Toronto to be precise, and we don't do those nonsense. Nobody shares. Everybody is contributing to the
King
center,
Henry,
not
can
the
you round
center.
up with your question,
Yeah, not the
please?
center. So I just want to get clarification. This elite consensus, are the elites also coming together again to share, to continue to share this nonsense they call federal allocation? Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take the last hand, Mr. Demola Akintoye. I don't know what happened to Abubakar. Go ahead, sir, with your question. Please go ahead.
Right. Thank you so much. Hello?
We can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Right.
can.
Thank you, Doctor. So it's good to hear you talk. You are the representation of detribalized Nigerian. But I want to ask a question about fundamentals, and I think we haven't addressed the fundamental Nigerian problem. And I'm going to do that in 30 seconds.
Your audio is choppy, or is it me? Mr. Akintoye.
No, I can't hear him
okay.
also.
Mr. Akintoye, your audio is cutting in and out.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
It must be my network. That problem.
It must
Can you
be
hear
your
me?
network.
I think I might have to see.
We heard you, and then
the
you
network
cut off.
isn't very good here. Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to.
Do you want to send in your question? You want to send it to via chat,
Yes,
and then I'll read it out to him.
I'll try that. Yes, the network isn't
try
good.
that. Okay, send that to us, and then we'll read out to him.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
all right. Okay, go ahead, sir. Do you want to take those three, and then we'll wait for Mr. Akintoye's question?
Thank you. Let me say, Samuel Dada, I don't support rotation, and I'm not supporting Adewale Adebayo because he is from the South or because he is Yoruba. I'm supporting him because he looks competent. I've sat with him, I've shared platforms with him, and I've seen the consistency and the coherency in what he says. He's young, he seems quite committed, and I feel that's the criteria we should be using. Not religion, not tribe, not part of the country you come from. Now, if you are saying because of the level of education of majority of people, we need to bring in rotation as a temporary measure to create a sense of belonging for those who cannot think at our own level, I can concede that, but it will have to come with a very stringent condition. And with that condition, whoever is going to come from wherever has to meet certain minimum requirements. Now, you don't bring a thief from the north and just say that because he's from the north, is the town of the north, so the north will bring him. No, we're not going to accept him. If you are going to bring from the north, you have to bring from the competent people of the north. You have to bring from people whose track records, whose character we can track and know and be confident that these are the kind of people we need. Because under rotation, all manners of rogues have now entered. In fact, the most painful thing is Buhari himself. I mean, this is a person that many were presenting, from the north is an honest man, this man, disciplinarian, whatever. But it turned out to be completely bonkers. And we all saw it and we all suffered from that. So the next time you are going to bring, if you have to go for rotation, then there has to be a criteria that you have to meet. And but my default position is that I don't want anything rotation. If we are going to be a nation, we have to be prepared to take any Nigerian from wherever he comes from, for as long as he meets what we are all agreed as the minimum criteria. If he doesn't, the institutions are there to check and balance him. And this is why we don't just focus on presidency. We have to look at the parliament. We have to look at the judiciary, and we have to do reforms that will also put certain criteria, certain disciplinary measures, so that when you do something wrong, the disciplinary measure should be able to pick you up, engage you, and maybe remove you from the system before you infect, other people in that profession or in that part of government. So I mean, my position is very clear. I don't like the idea of rotation, because it freezes those divisions that the Europeans have created, and then it will keep recurring. So I would rather we simply ignore it and go for criteria. Whoever meets those minimum criteria, people should, take him. And all we need is, if, for example, Abiola has succeeded, he would have perhaps demonstrated that it is possible to come from any part of the country and then to be fair and equitable. And that's all we require. We just need one person. It doesn't matter from which part of the country he comes from, but let it be fair and equitable. Then we can now erase from the memory of Nigerians this idea that you can only have a fair deal when somebody comes from your part of the country. So this is what we need to, we need to get to that stage. I think Ade Shodipo basically is appreciating the point, and I'm quite happy to meet you. I'm available for people like you who really want to meet, and I don't attend marriage ceremonies. I don't attend all these turban ceremonies. My friends have become annoyed severally, and because honestly, I don't have time for these frivolities. What I care for and I make time for is an engagement with every Nigerian who can, especially younger people, who can be involved in fixing this country before it gets late. So I'm quite happy to have met people like you. Henry raised the issue of the fourth level of government, which I find quite, creative. I've not thought about the fourth level of government, but I can see. Now, basically, I mean, what you are saying is, how are we going to craft this elite consensus? Yes, when we speak about elite consensus, we're not looking at the rogue elements among the elite. I don't think they would like to have any consensus. They would want status quo to continue. So we're looking at the enlightened, the committed, people like Yemisi, who have been in the struggle for a long time, like some of us 50 years ago, also from our university days, we have been involved in these things. So yes, these are the kind of people we are looking, very responsible, very passionate, very patriotic, Nigerians. And once we set certain standards, those who are going to come hopefully will be able to maintain those standards. So it's doable. Ademola could not because of the network. And,
Yes.
I'm not sure I have seen anything on the chat.
He sent it. He sent it in. I think we have a problem of a clash of civilization in Nigeria. That
Okay.
is.
Okay, it's here. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it now.
Yeah.
Okay, fundamental problem which has never been addressed. Singapore separated from Malaysia, things went well. Fine. I don't think there is a clash of civilization. I think, and I have a course that I'm teaching in School of Politics of Obi Ezekwesili on this. I've started it, and I'm going to be giving a few lectures around universities. I've done that in South Africa. I've done that in Nairobi, University of Nairobi. I've done that in Kampala, and I'm trying to develop the materials. I think our problem is we have to start decolonizing our curriculum. A lot of what we know about the other is through colonial literature. And this distrust that has been created is part of what has been put in our curriculum in a very subtle manner. But come to think of it, if you have done an NYSC, like one of them, I think, I can't remember who, talked about his experience in Kebbi or somewhere. If you have done, I mean, I did my NYSC in the Igbo land, the old Imo state. And I worked in the hospitals there in Oguta for 3 months, and I was taken to Umuahia, where I spent the rest of the 9 months. And I enjoyed my work, and I made friends with people. And look, there is nothing that is really separating us as human beings. We are all the same. So this idea of clash of civilization is a concept created to really create conflict. Yes, if you read African studies, you see that there are three major problems that create conflicts in Africa. I mean, all the conflicts in Africa, you can put them in three categories. One is how to share power. The other is how to share wealth, national wealth. And the other is the issue of identity. How do you deal with the issue of identity? The issue of identity is the most problematic, but federalism, and there are other ways of working together. And we have started. Right now, a priest in Kenya we are working with, a lady priest, is working, bringing people of different faiths on matters of environment. So if we're able to work on the common good, using the common grounds, all these differences are going to dissolve because we'll be busy building our countries. We'll be busy keeping our society safe. We'll be busy building our economy. We'll be busy preparing for the next generation. We will not have time to stop quarreling, to start quarreling, over issues of faith. People will be free. So these are the kind of thing we should be doing. So I'm confident that we can do it, but we need to start with the elite consensus. Thank you very much.
Thank you much, sir. Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate that. We don't have any more hands up, and then Pastor is going to be coming up in a short while to close. But I wanted to ask you a question before, and you can take it with your closing remark. You talked about the role of the traditional leaders, the clergy, and what we need to do to build this elite consensus. Can you kind of expatiate on that a little bit? Just like, okay, this is the role of what the clergy needs to do. This is the role that the traditional leaders need to do, so that we as citizens, we take that up and follow up with our respective leaders. Thank you.
Well, we have been, not myself alone, we have been in this business, Jumoke, for quite some time, and we have acquired certain experiences. Why we want to bring in the faith leaders is because faith plays a very important role in our lives. And people who want to divide us, they know how serious we take our faith, and they use the faith to divide us. I mean, I am a Muslim, and I've been a member of the Muslim Student Society on campus. I'm part of a number of Muslim organizations, but that has never meant, that has never stopped me from mingling and working with my Christian brothers. We have a forum which we deliberately started. We call it Arewa Movement for Good Governance. We did it in the north because it's easier to the homogeneity of the north to bring together. What did we do? We brought the ulama, the Muslim scholars, the Christian priests together. And I knew when I started, I muted the idea in a big meeting of of the Muslim ulama. One of them stood up when I talk about our brothers. He said, "They are not our brothers. Why do you want to bring this matter there?" And then I had to go back to the scripture, the Quran, and tell him, what are you going to say about what God said about this? Because God said in the Quran that the nearest to you are the Christians. God said it in the Quran. And he said, because there are pastors and clergy among them and they are not arrogant. So I said, okay, what are you going to, are you more jealous of Islam than God himself? And of course, I destroyed that argument there. I went to a mosque to preach, and somebody I found there was saying, don't eat food of the what do you call it, of the Christians in Christmas. And then again, I had the opportunity to say, look, this is the verse of the Quran that says that the food of the Christians are halal to you. And so, I mean, part of the problem is that the Muslim scholars themselves are ignorant. And we have got to do something to educate them about their religion. And I'm not talking just as a proposal. No, I have actually started it 4 years ago when there was a problem, especially after this event in Sokoto and all this. And people were just, abusing the ulama. I said, no, abusing them is not good enough. These people are ignorant. You need to teach them. Now, because they are ulama, they won't accept that somebody comes and start teaching them. What did we do? We engaged with them, a series of engagement. After that engagement, we identified the deficits in their knowledge. And we formed committees, some of them who have done PhDs in universities. We put them together, 3 people, some books, 5 people, 7 people. They wrote these books. And these books are now being taught. We have done workshops in like 10 states. And we are moving gradually in all the states and teaching and giving them books. We printed these books. So, I mean, we can remedy a lot of these things. And I expect that the same thing will happen. When I succeeded eventually in getting the clergy to come to the meeting of the Muslim ulama to give a goodwill message, and the imams going to the meeting of the Christian clergy in the north to give a goodwill message. And then we did steering committees for both. And then we merged these steering committees together. And we formed this group. And so during Ramadan, we will invite our Christians to come and break fast with us, the Christian pastors and the priests. So we are breaking those barriers. And everybody is happy. So I think these are things that we can deal with. And there are ways to deal with them, and we are dealing with them. And I just want to say, as part of my closing remarks, Nigeria is a great country. We don't seem to understand what Nigeria represents to Africa and what Nigeria represents to the world. And this is why perhaps we are all, I want to first assure us that even if Nigeria is worse than what it is today, we can fix it. It's not beyond repair. And I'm leveraging my study of Singapore and my study of South Korea. I've seen what they went through. In the 60s, South Korea was declared the second poorest country in the world. And most people in South Korea at that time, after the Korean War, they could only eat once a day. It's not a bowl of rice. You put your palms together, rice will be put you to fill your palms, and that's all we have for the day. But look at within a very short time, how they emerged at the cutting edge of technology because of the leadership. So you can actually grow, even if Nigeria is worse than what is today, we can fix it. We have the people. We have people in the diaspora who will not come now because they think the environment is too toxic. Fair enough. Those of us who are here and those of us who are determined to remain here, not because we don't have options to go outside, but because we took a decision to stay here and fix our country, with the young people that are here, we can do it. And when we are able to detoxify the country, we can then bring in our diaspora with their ideas, with their resources, and we can build the country. This country is going to be the critical country in the 21st century. In 2050, we are going to be over 400 million, and we are going to be the 3rd largest country in the world after India and China. But that's not even the good news. The good news is that the whole of Africa will be the youngest generation on the globe. The mean age will be 19. Europe will be aging. If the population in Europe is going to be falling, Europe will need Africa to be able to maintain their industries, to be able to maintain their societies. Asia would have started aging, and Asia will now, another quarter century down the line, will be looking for Africans. Africans are going to lead the world, and Africans are waiting for Nigeria to do that. And Nigeria is still sleeping. It's in the head of people who don't even understand what is happening in the 21st century. They just live like animals. They eat and they multiply, and that's all. So we have to have a purpose in life. We have to have a vision for this century. And Nigeria is the critical factor. How I wish our elite can understand this and come together, fix our country, and allow Africa to rise in the next 25 years. And then it will lead the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those passionate closing remarks and for this session. This whole session, based on the comments, have given a lot of us hope, for a lot of us has kind of like re-energized us that we need to come together for the good of Nigeria, and particularly grateful for your national view, for your unified perspective that you bring. So thank you for all that you have been doing, for being an elder statesman that is still in this fight and in this struggle, and for even inspiring the young ones to remain united. And I always use this opportunity to plug in, to speak about what our youths are doing, the Tri-Africa Youth Movement. You heard Henry Kintebe, he's the leader of that group. And there's another young man that would have spoken, but I guess his network is bad, Abubakar, Yusuf Abubakar. And everything you said is what our youths are mimicking, that unity, cutting across tribalism, religion, and I am on all their platforms. And on Sundays, they will wish their Christian brothers and sisters happy Sunday or something. And then on Fridays, the same thing. And this is the microcosm of our society and what is possible. And I know I spoke to you yesterday that I would like to get you involved in what they are doing as well, for us to continue to promote these national views and how they can continue to work together, because it really belongs to them. We tell them they are not the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of today. It starts today. And I'm happy that they are hearing you now talk about a lot of the things that they are speaking to. And the second thing I want to ask you before we say good night, you talked about leadership qualities, and we've been talking about that in 2023. I know, Mr. President, our president here charged us with coming up with a criteria to score those that are vying for office. And we came up with the qualities of good leaders and what all Nigerians should be looking at before they cast their ballot, whether the person vying for office has integrity, their honesty, ethical standards, accountability, responsibility, and even their past records. So I'll reach out to you to see what you have on that and how we can maybe synergize the documents and make sure that it's in the hand of all Nigerians as we prepare, as the politicians are preparing for doing their own campaign. We, the citizens, are also campaigning on what we should be looking at, looking for in our leaders. Thank you again so much, sir. I know we can have this conversation over and over again, but we are grateful for your time here with us. And I'm sure there's a lot more that we'll be doing together. So I'll follow up with you and then kind of share some of the things, some of the areas where we think there are areas for collaboration. And I'm sure Mr. President would also be in touch with you. So thank you for all that you do. We are grateful, and we pray that this becomes the cry of every Nigerian, whether we are in the north, south, east, or west. This nationalistic, patriotic stance is what we all should stand on. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you all, everyone, for joining us. You know, we meet here every Thursday at 5 p.m. We are on this series to build a nation, and we are going to be having this kind of conversations. Last week we had Showore had his view, and this week we had Dr. Bugaje, and next week we would have another speaker. And at the end of this is about us, the citizens. You know, there are a lot of things Dr. Bugaje stated today about we the people, the power that is in our hands, and it was really refreshing to focus on us as the citizens, not as helpless citizens that are just waiting for things to happen, but how we can be actively engaged in rebuilding this nation. So we'll continue the series, and we hope that you join us and share this also with all Nigerians. It's all hands on deck. It is not for a group of people. It is not just for the elite. It's for everyone. This is our country. Even the diaspora, there's a way to get them involved. I'm calling from California virtually. I'm involved in this. And there are a lot of diaspora Nigerians that may not be there physically, but they are there spiritually and mentally. So we'll continue to promote that engagement. Again, want to thank all of you for joining us. See you again next week, Thursday, same time, same Zoom link, just a different topic. Have a good evening. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
My great pleasure, Jumoke, and thank you, very distinguished participants in this. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Are you back from your conference?
No, I left the conference. I gave a keynote address. I waited to hear to some of the papers. Then they would have closed by now, but tomorrow
Okay.
I'll join them.
Thank you for for prioritizing us over your conference. We appreciate that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. And we invite you to the after party. For those of you that have been here, you know that we continue to have this informal conversation after this is all done. And it is engaging and a lot of good ideas come from there. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir. I will be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you, my
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right. All right, let me turn off the YouTube so that we can go to our after party. Oh, I'm not, give me 1 second to turn off the YouTube. I've asked you all to mute, just let me, 1 second.